Hey guys, Keith here. Today we're going to be working on my 2002 Mustang GT. We've got some suspension parts that we're wanting to replace. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace the lower ball joints, the outer tie rods, and the inner tie rods. So I'm liking these so far. They look really heavy duty, good quality. They come with the new boots to go on. They also have a new castle nut, and then your new grease fitting and cotter pin. These also have a new hardware as well, new grease fitting. I got those in the box, and got the new boot on there. Okay, and then your inner tie rod there. And also what we're going to do is replace the sway bar end links, and these have new bushings in them. So I'll show you guys how to do that. And as far as specialty tools, you're going to probably want to have a ball joint removal tool, and this is what it looks like. So it's basically like a big C-clamp, and I'll show you guys how to put this together, but basically this is what you're going to be using to push the ball joints out and press them back in. And depending on your application, you may want to have a tie rod tool to remove the inner tie rods. And on my application, I'm not sure I'm going to need this, but I picked it up just in case. So, but it's just a rental, so I can always return that. I'll be returning this. So, in addition to this, you may want to have a good set of power tools like an air ratchet, air impact wrench, things like that. And that'll make your job a whole lot easier. But other than that, you can do it with basic tools. So let's get the car on the lift and let's get started. Alright, so this is where the lower ball joint is. That's what we're going to be replacing today. But before you get started, you're going to want to put a floor jack or some kind of a jack under this lower suspension arm to support that, because it will fall down once you start disconnecting your parts. We're going to have to disconnect the suspension bolts that hold this upper strut on. You might just take it out altogether to make it easier. Be aware of your brake line here to make sure it doesn't get any stress and brake. You might undo the clip there to give you some room. And then once we get that out of the way, I can show you guys what the front tie rod looks like, because we're going to be replacing that one as well. Okay, so up front, I'll show you guys what we're going to be replacing here. We're going to be replacing the outer tie rod, and this is the inner tie rod. And here's the sway bar links, and we got the new bushings that are going to replace these ones here. So that'll help, firm up the suspension, give it better handling. Also, while you're in here, you might want to take a look at this boot here, make sure it's still in good shape. If it is, reuse it. If not, you might want to get a new one. Be sure to keep your clamps, because you'll want to reuse those too. And from this angle, you can see the ball joint again. Yeah, looks like it's shot, so good thing we're going to be replacing that one. So here you can see bolts on the strut. You're going to be wanting to remove these. And make sure you're supporting your brake line. You don't want this to be damaged while you're working on the car. Like I said, make sure you've got this part of the suspension supported with a jack, or like a floor jack or something like that. So, alright, let's get started. Okay, so we've got the ABS sensor removed. We've got the bolts that hold the strut on. So basically we can take this out. Yep, that's that. And so now we have access to the top bolt to the lower ball joint. So almost there. this has got a lot of... Well, we'll put the new one on. It's moving.
It is moving.
Yeah. There it goes. That's good. Bingo.
And bingo.
Good job.
It's out.
So that was the trick, was putting that piece there, with the spindle out the top. Okay.
Whoops. Okay. And
Oh, there's the ball joint.
it's out.
Oh, good job, man. Let me see what that looks like. Okay, so that's the mounting surface for the ball joint right here. So just clean that out. Okay. Looks pretty good. I don't see any
No,
real big scratches or anything. See the difference here. Oh, okay.
Old one, new one.
Very nice.
Looks a little heavier.
And that's got the grease fitting, whereas the other's got the grease fitting, whereas the stock one doesn't. All right. So what you doing here? A little bit of
So
grease.
now we are greasing it so we get a nice smooth slide when we reinstall it.
Okay.
A little grease on the ball joints. We don't want to make things harder than it has to be.
All right.
Okay, so installation. So
All right, so we just have this piece. This is actually hitting the ball joint right here. And then we have one of the rings that's bigger than the ball joint. So as we push the ball joint, it's going to go straight up. And then the spindle, as you can see, is going to come through here. All right.
and it seems like it's pushing a lot. And we're trying to make sure it goes in square,
Yeah.
not crooked. Trying anyway.
Okay, the ball joint is pressed in and it's making contact all around the edges. So we're done with this side. On to the next one.
Will it turn?
Okay.
Or is that just spinning the?
Yeah, go ahead and turn it.
Okay. Is it coming off?
Yep. All right, that's the inner tie rod. Okay. 11, 12, 13,
14,
18, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here you go.
I'm gonna put the locking pin in.
You want a smaller hammer?
That'll work.
All right. Is it on tight enough for you?
Yeah.
There's 3 holes for that, isn't it? In case that one's not lining up for you.
Yeah, that'll work. Okay, and then I'll just put a zip tie on that. That'll hold it in place for now. Okay, that's good.
And then our new
Okay. Alright, looks good.
Alright.
So we can go ahead and put the castle nut on. So he's basically hand tightening it and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's all you need.
Alright, so we use the air wrench to get this on really tight, and we lined up the hole just right so you can get the cotter pin in. And that about completes it for the ball joint. So once we get to the bottom, we'll get the grease fitting in. Yep. Alright, put the strut back in. How's that? Can you use the jack to lift it up just a little bit? Yeah.
Say when.
Yep, keep going. Keep going. Almost there. Give it one more pump. Just a little bit. A little bit. Stop. Yeah, that works.
We're going to put this on next. What did,
It's part of a little bracket.
oh yeah, I
Like a
remember
little
now.
flange.
Yeah, I got you.
So let's get that one.
We're ready for a couple wrenches.
Wanna do this one?
Yeah, we need something on the other side.
Okay. Go ahead. That's good. Give me the darn thing back. Alright, that's funny. Okay, we'll tighten up the strut tower bolt. What's this one? Oh,
The
ABS bracket.
sensor bracket.
Okay.
Goes right there. Okay, we'll tighten that up in a minute. And then our sensor is gonna go right in there. And then get our lock screw in there.
And then, can you squeeze those into the bracket? Those little clips.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Alright. That looks good.
That looks good.
So we got the brake line looking good. This is on, that's on. Brake caliper looks good. Strut is good. So let's put the grease fitting in on the bottom of the ball joint.
And then
We'll put that on.
there we go.
Alright.
Yeah.
So what size was that one?
So that's a 7mm.
7mm.
And it's going on real well on well, almost maybe a half a turn. We're good. There we go. And then we can just get a couple threads. Got our castle nut. Oops. Get our thread started. And then start wrenching it on there. And it's going to pull that tapered fitting on that tie rod. It's going to pull it right up in there. Yeah, that is not going to go much more. Okay.
Alright, looks good.
We are cotter pinned on.
Okay.
So we left this adjusting nut a little loose for right now, so when we get ready to adjust the toe in, it'll be almost in the right spot because we counted our revolutions taking the tie rod end off. It was 22 turns, so we're pretty close. Our toe end is going to be real close to what it was before we took it apart.
Okay, and then we'll finalize the alignment once we get all set. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grease all the new fittings. So I'm going to be needing to grease the outer tie rod and the ball joint on both sides. So let's do that next. Oh yeah, you can see it filling up.
Yeah, I see it now. It's pumping up like a tire, like a balloon.
Okay, so we'll take a quick look here. This is the driver's side. We've finished installing the new outer tie rod. We've installed the new inner tie rod. And down here, this is the new ball joint pressed in. So this side is complete and ready to go. Let's take a quick look at the passenger side. So we've got the outer tie rod, inner tie rod installed, and that sway bar kit, and then the new ball joint there. Okay, so that's about it for today's video. Be sure to check out part 2 of this series where we go over how to do an alignment here in the garage so we can get the toe in set correctly on the car. So I'll show you guys how to adjust your inner and outer tie rod to get your toe in set, and then we can get this car back on the road. So I'll see you guys in the next video.